Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So in this video, I'm going to record or I'm going to demonstrate how do you upgrade Cisco iOS devices in bulk. So basically in this program, I'm upgrading Cisco 2801 and 2811 simultaneously. So what this script is doing. So basically, first and the foremost, this script is fetching some report, the pre-upgrade report. So the report will come in an Excel format, so which will give you the IP address of the device, what would be the host name, uptime, serial number, device memory, current iOS version, etc. So once you gather this information, then you see and go ahead and upgrade the iOS. So before you upgrade the iOS, there are a few checks that the device is doing. So basically, it is checking if the device is having sufficient memory or not. If yes, then go ahead and start uploading the file into the router. Otherwise, it'll give you an error like, okay, we don't have sufficient memory. So let's say if you have sufficient memory, right, and then you go ahead and start uploading the file. Once the iOS file is uploaded, it is going to do the checksum check and validate if the checksum is matching or not. So if the checksum is matching, then it is going to the further step where it is going to write the bootloader and then reload the router. So it'll wait for some time before the router is restarted, and then after once the router is restarted, it'll fetch the post report so that you'll have or you can do a comparison with the pre-report and post-report to see what was the iOS version earlier and what is the iOS version right now, and what is the uptime as well. So all those things you can validate through this script. So let me tell you, I'm not a Python expert, so I have written this based on my experience, based on my lab environment. So I'm not guaranteeing that this will work in your lab, this will work in your production. So if you are trying this, I would recommend to try it in your lab first before you hit the production. If you're doing it in your production, so you make sure like you have some people on site so that if in case the router crashes, so you can have someone to recover the router. Okay, so I'm not certifying this script, but this is working 100% fine in my lab. So let me get started. So I've written this Python script on NetMiko. So basically, that's the module I'm using at this moment. And I'm not going to take you through the entire script. I'm just giving an overview of what I have done here. So here's the list of IP address which I'm trying. So 192.168.1.179 and 178 is the IP address of my Cisco 2801 and 2811 router. Then I'm going to define some parameters here, like, okay, what is the new iOS version for 2801 going to be? And what is the iOS file size? And then what is the MD5 checksum for this 2801? So this is something which you can grab it from Cisco website. And the same thing you have done for 2811 router as well. Then I'm going to define some parameters like, okay, I'm going to copy the iOS image from the tftp server and I'm copying it to the flash here. And this is my tftp IP address. So where the iOS file will be get copied. So reload wait time. So what is this? So basically, I'm defining a parameter here. After the iOS is upgraded and reloaded, the router is reloaded, how much wait time you should do so that it gives you sufficient time for the router to come up and you fetch the post report. So you'll get to know about it. Then these are the global parameters. If you want to control these parameters globally, auto copy to flash. So basically, I'm defining, okay, if the iOS image has to be copied automatically to the flash, yes or no. If you define these parameters, yes, then it'll try to upload the iOS image from the TFTP server to flash automatically using these parameters. If you say this as no, then it'll not copy the iOS image. Then it'll check for this option. If you want to change the boot sequence automatically, if it is set to yes, then yes, it'll change. Otherwise, it'll not change the boot parameters. if you don't want the router to reload automatically, right? So in that case, you would like to set this as no, but in our case, we are doing everything automatically. So I've set this as yes, so that after the iOS is uploaded, it changes the boot parameter and then it reloads the router. Okay. So I'm writing some data here on some CSV file. So if you see here, the first CSV file gives fetches some information like your IP address, host name, uptime, current version, current image, serial number, device model, and device memory. So this is the header I'm going to write on the Excel. So the same goes with, so this was a pre-upgrade and this is going to be with post-upgrade. So you have two set of files, pre and post, so that you can compare the configuration. And then I'm also writing some logs here, if you see here. So basically it generates some log file, and that log file will be help you to, identify what all steps it has gone through in order to do the iOS upgrade. Okay, so here in this case, we are using telnet in case of our router. So if in case you are not using telnet, then you have to remove this command underscore telnet. So you can find it in my other post where I have written a article on how to do SSH on the Cisco router using NetMiko. So you can refer to that always. So here we have defined the parameters like username, password, and secret. If you don't have secret, then you can always uh, uncomment this, sorry, comment this. And then what we are going to say is to router is you try to log in and then you try to enable. So basically first you log in and then after you log in, you enter the username and password. And then after that, it gives you prompt to enable en, okay, which will again ask for a password. So these are the steps which are defined here. In case if you encounter any sort of error here, right? So we are uh, capturing the error here in this case, handling the errors actually. So if I go down here, I'm whatever report I'm capturing, pre-upgrade report, I'm saving the report here in this particular list. So basically, I'm using regex in order to get this output of the uptime, and then your what is the iOS version, what is the serial number, and what is the current version, what is the memory, and all those stuffs here. So yeah, regex is being used in this case. Now coming back here down, so if you come to this section, right, we have defined a global parameter if autocopy to flash is set as yes or no. If in case you have defined autocopy to flash as no, then it will skip this particular area or this part of configuration. If it's set to yes, then it'll come and do the checks here. So basically what it does is it is going to check if your router is a 2801 model, and if in case it is 2801 model, then it is going to check the output size of flash memory if you have sufficient space available. So it is going to do the calculation here. If in case you have sufficient space, then it is going to send you to the further step. If in case you don't have sufficient space, in that case, it'll go back to another router and check if that another router has sufficient space until the list is completed. Okay, so the same goes with 2811 here. So if you see here, 2811 is also having the same thing here. So it'll do the pre-checks like if you have sufficient space. If you don't have, then it'll start the program again. Or not start the program, but basically go to the next available item in the list. Then once, let's say you have sufficient space available, right? So it'll send the command like copy of tftp to flash. Here in this case, we are taking this parameter from global parameter. So after that, it starts uploading the file here based on the model that you have. Okay, so for example, if you have 2801, it'll start uploading the file for 2801. If your model is 2811, then it'll start uploading the file for 2811. So you can find here for 2811, the model is here. So let's say your router model is 2801. In that case, what it is going to do is after the file is uploaded completely, so it'll give you a message, okay, the file has been copied successfully. Otherwise, it'll give an error, okay, if the file was not copied because of some reasons maybe. So which you can see here, okay. So I'm capturing the error here, error copying the file. So, or maybe file does not exist, then also it will give an error. Okay, so now going back at the top, so after the file is uploaded successfully, so it is going to calculate the MD5 here in this particular area. So once the MD5 is calculated and if it is working fine, or let's say if it is matching with the data that you have given, then it'll run the program. Otherwise, it'll not run the program because your MD5 is not matching. Okay, now let's say your MD5 is matching, and after that you would like to do the further process, right? So, okay, before I tell you that, so supposing if you, in case you have chosen auto copy to flash as no, right? So it is going to stop the command here. So it is not going to upload the file to the flash in that case. Okay. Now, let's say if you want, if you have chosen to change the boot sequence automatically. So, if let's say you have set this as yes, so it'll come and it'll run some command. Okay, no, it'll go log into the router and say no boot system, and then it is going to copy or run the current boot system at the top. So then it'll run the current boot system at the bottom and the new boot system at the top, so that whenever the router is reloaded with the image, so it will always start with the latest image that you have uploaded. If in case that fails, then it is going to load the secondary image, which was your existing image. So after that, it is going to write the configuration here once the boot sequence is changed, and then um, it is going to reload the router. If in case you have selected auto reload as yes, it is going to reload the router here. So once the router is reloaded, so it is going to wait for the number of seconds that you have defined on the top here. So let's say if you have defined 300 seconds, so it is going to wait for 300 seconds here. So once it waits for 300 seconds, then it is going to fetch the post-upgrade report. You have already seen the pre-upgrade report, how it logs into the router and fetches the information using regex command. So that is how it is going to be. So I'm not going to explain each and every line of this code because this is very big program. So it is difficult to explain all of them in a single video. So let me take you through the upload, through the practical scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the iOS upgrade right now. Okay, so I have two routers. So let me log in into the router here. Show flash. So if you see here, I don't have sufficient space available here. So I'm running in low in resources. So in that case, I don't have enough flash memory so that I can copy to iOS image. So in our scenario, I have to delete the existing iOS image in order to run this automation script. So this is the second router I'm logging into. So again, this router also does not have sufficient space. So again, I have to do or delete this image so that necessary space can be created. So now I want to show you, like, if I don't have a sufficient space, whether it is giving me an error or not. So I'm going to run this command. So let's say what it does. You see here. So it is first checking the pre-report, and then it is going to check whether this has sufficient space or not. Okay, so we see here it does not have sufficient space. Then it is going to check for another router here, and that router does not have sufficient space. So ultimately it is going to wait for 300 seconds and then give you the post report. So I'll not wait for 300 seconds to get the post report. I'll press Ctrl C. So now I would like to show you the logs. How does it look like? So this is how the logs look like. So when it is trying to capture, it is capturing everything here in this particular text file. And how does the pre-upgrade report looks like? So if you see here, so the pre-upgrade report looks like this. So it is giving you the IP address, host name, and the uptime of the router. What is the current iOS image? What is the current version and what is the current iOS image? The serial number, the device model, and the device memory. So if you look at the post report, it will be blank because we have not allowed to wait for 300 seconds. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the flash memory so that we create sufficient space here. I'm going to do the same on the other router. Okay. So now we have deleted everything, or I would say cleaned up the flash image. So we have sufficient space available now. So let's try to run this command again. So now if I run this command, these logs will be overwritten after these commands are run again. So what I've done is I've made my system as a TFTP server so that I can copy the file from my system. So I'm again going to rerun this code. Before I do that, I'll do a cleanup CLS and then run this command. So let's see now. So you see here sufficient space available right now. So it has executed the command copy tftp flash, and then here it is going to enter the IP address which I have defined in the global parameter. It is going to define the source file, and then it is going to define the destination file. So now if you see, the file is started copying and 6% is already completed. So it will take some time, maybe around let's say a couple of minutes for the iOS image to be uploaded successfully. So I'll pause the video for that time and then I'll resume it again. So as you can see, 92% is completed so far. So let's see what is the progress after this. Okay, so we are going to complete 100% now. Okay, so iOS has been uploaded now. So let's see what it gives you in the screen. So it is basically doing some checks on the back end. So you see here, it has done some checks here. So the file was copied successfully here in this case, and then now it is going to run the MD5 checksum. Okay, so expected MD5 is this, and it is matching with this particular MD5. So which says MD5 checksum successfully matched, and the boot sequence was changed automatically, and the configuration was saved, and it has sent the reload command at this time. Okay, so it has given some timeout error here because of some reasons. It was not able to read the pattern which was supposed to be read. So we'll see if the router was reloaded or not. In the meanwhile, it has logged into another router and it started uploading, the iOS file here. So you see the iOS file is getting copied. So let's see if the other router is reachable or not in the meanwhile. So the other router is reachable. So because of some error, it was not able to read the other uh, router. So let's see and let's try to log in here. Okay, so this file was copied successfully. So is this the file what we have defined at the top? So this is 2011. Yeah. So this is the correct file. So let's do one thing. Let's reload this router manually here because it was not able to reload manual automatically. So let's pause the video till the file gets uploaded. Okay, so 5 minutes is going to be over now. Okay, so it is trying to collect the post report. So let's see. Okay, so the iOS upgrade has been completed. So let's see the result here. Well, it has generated total 3 files. So if you see the logs here, so at this, these are the time frames, what it has tried to do for what IP address and what was the error, what was the message. So this was a time when it tried to collect the report, free report. Next step was to check if the size was available, space was available And then the file was copied at this particular point of time. MD5 checksum, configuration saved, and reload command sent to the router. In the first case, the router was not reloaded automatically. We had to do that. So that is something that we had done manually. So let's see in the second case here. So in the first case, it might be because of some technical error. Anyways, so let's see the uh, another IP address. So for 178, it has tried to collect the pre-report, check if sufficient space is there, copy the file, check MD5 checksum, configuration save, reload send. And after that, it waited for almost 300 seconds. So if you see the calculate the time from here, right? So it is almost 5 minutes. So it has collected the post upgrade report. So let's see how does the pre-upgrade report looks like. So this is the pre-upgrade report. If you see here, so this is the uptime, this is the version, this is the serial image, etc. So I'm going to compare it side by side. Now I'll open the post upgrade report. So if you see here, the router was reloaded and the uptime has been changed here. So if you see the current version before the upgrade was 15.0.1 M7, but after the upgrade, the current version is 15.1.2 T1. In case of 178, the version was 15.01 M5 and after the upgrade 15.0.1 M7. So this is what the current version is right now. So this will be very easy when you're comparing the pre and the post report. If you see any discrepancies, so you will be able to figure it out, okay, if the router was upgraded successfully or not, right? So rest of the things will remain same as it is. I hope you might like this video, and as I said earlier, if you're trying it in your production, make sure you have all the backups available and at the site and as well as the configuration backup as well. Thanks for watching this video.